So I gotta say, one, made a similar video back last year, maybe October-ish, when the Pixel 8 was released. Google at the time announced that they were going to start providing 7 years of software support. Great. But I felt that 7 years is a bit much. I don't really think that the user experience is going to be that good 7 years from now for a phone that was brand new bought today. And here is my Pixel collection. I have a Pixel 8, a Pixel 4, and a Pixel 2. I do have a Pixel 6. Well, my dad has a 6A that I bought him, and I had a Pixel 6, but I traded it in. But the whole point of me even bringing this up is similar to what I said before, that giving 7 years of support would be like having this Pixel 2 still be supported today. Yes, it still works. Yes, you can still make phone calls. Yes, the battery life would be questionable after 7 years. I mean, yeah, you would definitely have needed to get a new battery, but I don't think this would be an optimal experience for anybody. It will be okay, and if you just didn't feel like spending the money, then I get it. You would want to hold on to this, but the way that things operate, yes, you can still go buy a brand new phone today that might be last year's model, or you could buy a used phone that's 1 or 2 years old for a relatively affordable price, to the point where it makes wanting to keep a phone this long almost pointless. Now, over on 9 to 5 Google, they have an article up, and it's titled "OnePlus says 7 years of Android updates completely misses the point." And of course, 9 to 5 Google and whoever's writing this questions it. And it talks about the fact that the Pixel 8, with the release of the Pixel 8 and the release of the Galaxy S24 series, both Samsung and Google said that they're going to start supporting their devices for 7 years. And just to give a little quote here, in an interview with Tom's Guide, OnePlus president Kinder Liu explains that adding years of software updates isn't enough, as the fluency of your phone's user experience has to match the timeline. Essentially, the experience has to be good enough in 7 years that those updates actually matter. And he went on a little more to compare these software updates to a sandwich, saying that the software updates are like the meat of the sandwich and the bread is like the user experience. And just that even though something might be good today, 7 years later, it might not be the best. You can go back and read that if you want to see, everything that he specifically said. But I got to say, I agree with him that we are going to see how Google handles this extended support. We're going to see how Samsung does it. Personally, comparing the two, I would say that Samsung's probably going to do a better job of it. But OnePlus has decided to keep their, 4 years of major operating system updates, upgrades, and I believe 5 years of security updates. And I think you're going to get them in a bi-monthly fashion. Perfectly fine. You keep a phone for 4 years, it's time for something else, and if you want to keep it, you still can. I'm sure it's still going to continue working the same way that my Pixel 2 continues to work. But at the end of the day, that is not the greatest user experience. Heck, even going from my Pixel 2 to my Pixel 4 is a better user experience, and this phone isn't supported either. And then I have mixed feelings about Pixel 8. Yeah, it's not a bad phone. Not a bad phone. But I don't think I could agree more with what the president of OnePlus is saying. 4 to 5 years is great. Now, in the article, they of course have to compare it to Apple, and they say, that 7 years of support is longer than Apple, which is true. To my knowledge, the longest supported iPhone is the 6S. I could be wrong, but I believe that's the longest supported one. Came out with iOS 9, so from 9 to 10 to 11 to 12 to 13 to 14 to 15. And then technically up to 16, but not including. So I guess technically that was 7 years of support right there as well. And I don't think they've done that since. So that was the exception. I want to say that's when they went to, I think a 64-bit architecture. So yeah, why exactly did they keep that around? I really don't know. But again, Apple did it once, and it looks like that's what the other companies are attempting to do as well, at least just two of them. Now, I definitely said, this Pixel 2 is here, and this iPhone 7 is here as well. Of the two devices, if, I didn't feel the way I did about iOS, so putting my personal feelings aside, if I had to use one of them, I would much rather use this iPhone 7 as opposed to this Pixel 2. Even though the Pixel 2 technically came out a year after the iPhone 7, I feel like Apple just does a better job in terms of longevity of support, which one, I mean, that's what the fundamental argument is, but I feel like they do a better job of doing it. So what are we actually going to see? What are we actually going to experience when Samsung and Google start doing it themselves? Now, in the article, one thing I did skip over is the emphasis that even 9 to 5 Google and most people put on the concern for Google. They're saying they're going to give you 7 years of support to align with what OnePlus is concerned about, myself and other people. What is that experience actually going to be like, specifically for Google? Specifically for Google. I feel like Samsung is going to do a better job of it, and Google is just going to, in my opinion, probably just kind of piecemeal it along as time goes on. So I think the user experience for Samsung in 7 years will be okay. I don't think the user experience for Google will be great. One of the other, I guess, statement in support of extended support is that the devices will hold their value longer. I don't think that's going to be the case. I mean, I'm on eBay right now looking up S24s, and right here we got one for $600. The starting price is $800, mind you. We got another one here for $500, and I actually did message this individual, and he said that hey, he can sell them for cheap because he has connects. Don't know exactly what that means. I am considering buying that one for $500. I mean, it's $300 off the retail price, and the phone's only been out for what, a couple of weeks, if that. Yeah, a couple of weeks. And yeah, like you can just scroll down and you can see that some of them are clean. This one might not be clean, but you're going to get a wide mix of those things. And yeah, like I do not think at all extended support is going to help with the resale value of any of these devices. I mean, heck, yeah, I should probably watch this one just to see how high it goes. I mean, I don't consider myself an eBay pro, but I have been doing it long enough, in my opinion, that yeah, you don't, if you want a certain price, do buy it now or best offer. Because yeah, you're going to get some lowball offers, but what's going to happen right here is one, yeah, you've capped how high this can go because nobody, why am I talking about this? And yeah, and you just keep scrolling and you'll see that prices definitely are, lower than what the retail value of them are. Now, I guess kind of in support of everything, whether it's devices holding their value or not, I'm whatever. What's most important, in my opinion, in this entire conversation, because some people don't want to buy or sell on eBay. Some people prefer going either directly to a carrier, which I don't like, but some people do, or some people want to go directly to the manufacturer. So if you come to Samsung's website, yes, right here you can see that the retail price is $800. And the reason this right here is also listed at $250 is because I've selected the regular S24 unlocked. I feel like you should always buy an unlocked device. $128, and honestly, for what, 60 more bucks, it's not a bad deal to double your storage. But you come down to the trade-ins, those need to be good for everybody. So if I were to trade in my S23 from last year, they're going to give me $550 for it. I mean, it's in pristine condition, and I would prefer to be able to hand it in person. So, there have been some issues with mail and stuff. But assuming everything goes according to plan, $550 for an S23. You just saw on eBay that you could potentially buy an S24 this year for a little more than that. So assuming you spent around the same amount last year, you're really coming out ahead in terms of what you're actually spending for these new devices. So to close it all, 4 to 5 years is what OnePlus is doing. I think that's kind of spot on. 2 to 3 is too short. I'd even say 3 might be okay, but 4 to 5 I feel like is great. 7 years just kind of seems like it's overkill. Having good trade-in deals for people who want to upgrade to get a new phone is crucial. And then of course, recycling and doing whatever on their end is also important. Yeah, to make sure things don't just end up in landfills. Screen replacements need to be readily available and affordable, and battery replacements need to be readily available and affordable. And yeah, I think that's it. So 7 years.